What's your job title?
I am the regional director for a company called Science Delivered.
How long have you had your title?
My current title I've had for the past year. Before that, I was with the same company as the programs manager. And then, let's see, I've been with this company 3 years. 3 years now. And before that, I was in grad school working in a lab at UVA.
What education do you need to do this job?
There's a few different answers depending on what kind of scientist you want to be as far as how much education you need. Most scientists do go to college if they want to work in a lab. And then if you want to run your own lab or run your own business, most then go to grad school after that to either get a master's degree or a PhD. And that's what I did, and that's what has helped me get the experience that I need to be able to run some of my own experiments, come up with my own ideas, have enough training to know how to strike out on my own a little bit. So that's the education path that I took, was college and then grad school, and then sort of co-founding this nonprofit company.
What does an average day look like with your job?
So the average day involves a few different things. There's some planning, some gathering supplies, so I know I have everything for the experiments I'm going to be doing that day and later in the week too. So things like the supplies that I have behind me there, I check and make sure I have enough of everything, that I've got it all together and ready to go for when I'm going to be starting the experiment. There's some planning ahead. Sometimes in science there can be experiments that take a few days, so sort of planning out your schedule and planning your days so you know you're going to be able to do each step of the experiment at the right time. And then of course a lot of my job is teaching and visiting classrooms, so I drive to the school, I go into the classroom and I do an experiment like the one that I just did in front of a group of students and help them get to do their own version of the experiment.
What is the hardest thing you've done in this job so far?
The hardest thing so far actually has been figuring out how to adapt the job during COVID, during the pandemic. I haven't been able to go into classrooms like I normally do and teach and do experiments with the students. So figuring out how to keep going, how to still do science, still help students be able to do science and have fun doing experiments, and figuring out a little bit the aspect of how to run a business during a pandemic when everything's very different than it was before has been a big challenge.
What is one thing you didn't expect from this job?
One thing that surprised me a little about this job was how much I love working with students. I didn't have a lot of experience doing that before. I did some volunteering and I knew I liked it, but it surprised me how much I love doing that when I do a science experiment with a group of students, and they just light up and they're surprised by something, or they go, oh wow. I love that, and that's something that I didn't totally expect how much fun that would be.
Thanks for letting me interview you today.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been fun.